Hello friends, welcome to the channel IAS Coders. And in this series, in this set, we are discussing set number 8, and we will start with question number 81. From question number 1 to 80, we have already discussed in first 7 sets. So if you haven't watched those videos, please go back and watch those videos. So we will start with question number 81 of geography, environment and the mapping question. So question number 81 and the first question of this video is about the tiger reserve and their locations, in which state they are located. So the first, the tiger reserve is the Paket Tiger Reserve. Paket Tiger Reserve is located in Arunachal Pradesh. This statement is correct. The second option is the Indravati. Indravati Tiger Reserve is located in Odisha. This statement is wrong because Indravati is in Chhattisgarh. Right. The third option is the Bandipur. Bandipur Tiger Reserve, everyone knows, is in Western Ghats in Karnataka. And the fourth one is the Satkosia Tiger Reserve. Satkosia is not in Chhattisgarh but in Odisha. So the 2 and 4 are wrong, 1 and 3 is correct. So option is B. This is the correct choice for question number 81. I made a map of the Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve. This is the Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve, which has the following wildlife sanctuary and the tiger reserve. You have to remember some of them, like Brahmgiri Wildlife Sanctuary, Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary, right? Bandipur National Park or Tiger Reserve, the Mudumarai Wildlife Sanctuary, and some are not mentioned here, like Satyamangalam Wildlife Sanctuary. This is also is the part of this Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve, along with Silent Valley National Park. Silent Valley National Park is also the part of the Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve, so they are not mentioned in this. So this was the question number 81 and the associated Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve map, right? So moving to question number 82. Question number 82 is about the compensatory management fund, right? Compensatory afforestation fund management and the planning authority. See, earlier this fund was ad hoc fund, and this fund used to collect the money from the industrialist or the industries which were investing in the forest land, right? And this fund was used then to finance the projects of the afforestation, right? Afforestation projects were used to be financed out of this CAMPA fund. But in 2016, government passed the Compensatory Afforestation Management Planning Authority Act, right? So this CAMPA has been created under the Compensatory Afforestation Fund Act. This statement is correct. Moving to statement number 2, it establishes national and the state compensatory afforestation fund. This statement is also correct. This act establishes two separate funds, one for state and another for center. The amount, the 90% of amount goes to the state compensatory afforestation fund, and the 10% of the amount goes to the national compensatory afforestation fund. So statement number 3 is about that. The national fund receives 25%, while the state fund receives remaining 75%. This statement is wrong because the state receives 90% and the center receives 10%, and these funds are used to finance the afforestation activities, right? So this statement is wrong. Option is B, right? So this was question number 82, right? And this is its explanation, that it was passed in the act was passed in 2006. 10% fund goes to the national compensatory fund, and the 90% goes to the state fund, right? This was the question number 82. Moving to question number 83. Question number 83 is about the agriculture production. So the question is, the reasons for the slow growth of agriculture production in India are, which of the following are the reasons among these of the low production, right? The number 1 is the lack of awareness about the treatment of crops. This is correct. Low irrigation facilities. This is also correct. Only few regions in India have the canal irrigation, like Haryana, Punjab and the western UP, and some part of the Godavari and Krishna Delta. Other regions are the rain-fed region and they lack the irrigation facility. So this is also one reason for the low agriculture production in India. Option number 3 is the use of chemical fertilizers. This is not the correct option. Actually, the excessive use of the chemical fertilizer has become the reason for the low agriculture, but in the few regions of the India, particularly in the Punjab, Haryana, not in entire country. Option number 4 is the limited access to the modern farming technology. This is also a reason for the lack of agriculture production in India. Limited access to the modern farming. See, modern technology of the farming are mainly accessible to the farmers, the commercial farming areas of the steppe and the prairie region of the Russia and the America respectively. But in the subsistent agriculture practices, which is practiced mostly in India, except a few regions, the farming technology is least available to them. So 1, 3, and 4 are the main reason for the lack of agriculture productivity in India. So option would be answer would be C, right? So this is the correct option for question number 83, right? So moving to question number 84, the question number 84 is about the wild species. So the species mentioned is rhino. Species mentioned is rhino. The question is, which of the following is the smallest of all the rhino species? Right, smallest of all the rhino species. 4 rhino species are mentioned here. Option number A is the black rhino, white rhino. See, white rhino is the largest among these. It is largest, and the smallest among them is the Sumatran rhino. This one, Sumatran rhino, and this is the critically endangered species as per the IUCN Red Data list, Red Data book. Okay, and it is also the smallest rhino among the 4 mentioned. Right. So this was question number 84. Moving to question number 85. Question number 85 is about an index, National Disaster Risk Index. The index was prepared by Ministry of Home Affairs along with the UNDP, and the index considered the six variables, and these 6 variables, according to these 6 variables, Maharashtra was the most vulnerable state to the natural disasters. Okay, and in Maharashtra, the most disaster prone district was Pune. Right, so this was the main the constituents of this thing, National Disaster Risk Index, and it is prepared by MOHA and UNDP. So answer would be 2 and 3 B. This is question number 85. Moving to question number 86. Question number 86 is about the some disaster resilience or the disaster management frameworks, okay, which were adopted in the United Nations disaster risk conferences, right? Risk reduction conferences. The first statement is about the Sendai framework. Sendai framework is the successor instrument to the Hyogo framework for HFA. Okay, Hyogo framework for environment action 2005-2015. See, in 2005, in the Japan city of Hyogo, this framework was adopted. Hyogo framework for action, environment action, and it expired in 2015. After that, in Sendai city of Japan again, another framework was adopted for next 15 years. That is called the Sendai framework, and it was adopted from 2015 to 2030. So this is statement is correct. Statement number 1. Statement number 2 is about the Sendai framework again. Sendai framework aims to prevent, reduce, and mitigate only the natural disasters. This statement is wrong, because Sendai framework aims to reduce, mitigate not just the environmental and natural disasters, but along with other technological disasters, other biological disasters are also included or part of the Sendai framework. So this statement is wrong. When 2 is wrong, moving to statement number 3. So the Sendai framework was the first international binding agreement adopted within the context of post 2015 development agenda. See, it is not a binding agreement. Number 1, it is a voluntary agreement. It is a voluntary agreement, not binding agreement, right? So this statement is also wrong. So answer would be only one. This is question number 86, right? Moving to question number 87. Question number 87 is about the State Disaster Response Fund. State Disaster Response Fund. Statement number 1 is this thing. The central government contributes 50% of SDRF allocation for general category state and 90% for the special category state. This figure is wrong. This is actually 75%. Central government contributes 75% to SDRF, and there are two funds. One is NDRF, National Disaster Response Fund. Another is the State Disaster Response Fund. Both are created by the Disaster Management Act 2005, right? But in this fund, 90%, 75% fund goes from the center, and this fund in the SDRF is utilized for the notified disasters, notified disasters right for the notified disasters. And only 10% fund of SDRF can be utilized for the disasters which are not notified, right, which are not notified. So let us read the question. So statement number 1 is wrong because here should be 75%. Statement number 2, the state government may use up to 25% of fund available under SDRF for providing the immediate relief for they consider to be disaster within local context in the state which are not notified in the not included in the this thing notified list of disasters. So this statement is again wrong because only 10% of the fund can be utilized for the disasters which are not notified by the SDR or in by the SDRF fund. So this was question number 80. Both statements are wrong. So question number 87, right? Moving to question number 88. So number 88. This is about some keystone species. With reference to keystone species, consider the following statements. Statement number 1. The keystone species exhibit disproportionately large effect on its environment relative to its abundance. This statement is correct. The keystone species exhibit the disproportionately large effect on the environment. Keystone species are like lion, leopard. Okay, these are keystone species. Elephant. These are keystone species, right? And they exhibit the disproportionately very large influence, not only just on the prey but also on the predator and other biodiversity elements. So this statement is correct. Statement number 2, the keystone species is always a predator. This statement is wrong. Keystone species can be prey, can be predator, it can be herbivorous or it can be carnivorous. So this statement is wrong. So answer is only A. So 2 is wrong, only A. Right, so this is question number 88. See this figure. This is the sea otter and it is a keystone species. Below this sea otter, these are the kelp forest which grow on the ocean floor. These are the kelp forests, and below these kelp forests, these are the animals, sea urchins as they are called. Okay, sea animals. Now in the second figure, the sea otter is absent. But below the sea otters, you see the kelp forest have also been overgrazed by these urchins. So what has happened that because of the absence of the sea otter, the one element of the biodiversity of the floor, that is the kelp forest, have gone missing, right? So this is the large effect of the otters on the biodiversity of the oceans. So this was question number 88. Moving to question number 89. Question number 89 is about the biodiversity, right? The biodiversity, the variety of animals, of the plants, or the species of the plant or the animal that are found in a region is as it is defined as the biodiversity. And options given are, so first of all, the question is, just as there are many different ways to define the biodiversity, there are the many different type of biodiversity. So there are 3 different type of biodiversity as they mentioned in the question: alpha diversity, beta diversity, and gamma diversity. So see, alpha diversity is the diversity that is found within an ecosystem, right? Beta diversity is the diversity which is found between the 2 ecosystems, right? And the gamma diversity is the diversity that is found in the entire region. So these are the 3 different type of biodiversity. So let us read the statements. Alpha diversity, concerned with the species richness, involves counting the number of individuals in a given area. That statement is correct. So in a given area, diversity is called the alpha diversity. The beta diversity is between the two regions, between the two biomes. That is beta diversity, not in the entire region. The biodiversity which is in the entire region is the gamma diversity. So these statements are interchanged actually, so both are wrong. Statement answer is only one. So see in the map, this diagram, the diversity that is found within this ecosystem, that is alpha 4. Okay, 1 2 and 3 and 4, this is the alpha diversity, right? And the diversity between these two ecosystems is the beta diversity. And diversity in the entire ecosystem, the number of shapes are 6, so gamma is 6, so entire ecosystem diversity is 6, so this is the gamma diversity. Moving to question number 90 and the last question of this video. The last question is question number 90 is about the construction and demolition waste management rule, which were passed in 2016 by the government of India. And you have to select the correct statement of this. The statement number 1, the responsibility of the segregation of waste lies with the waste collector. The responsibility of segregation lies not with the waste collector, it lies with the waste generator. So this statement is wrong. The rules only applies to the municipal areas and exclude SEG and the defense establishment. This statement is also wrong, because the rules applies to the all establishment, whether they are SEG, special economic zones, or whether they are defense establishments. So this statement is also wrong. Statement number 3, the local authorities shall procure and utilize 50% of material from construction and demolition waste. This is wrong, because according to the rules, the local authorities shall procure from 10 to 30% of the material. 10 to 30% of material. So this statement is also wrong. Read this. So the last statement is, State Pollution Control Board shall grant authorization to the construction and demolition waste processing facility. Right? This statement is correct, because State Pollution Control Board shall provide the authorization for construction and demolition of waste processing facility. So this was the question number 90, the last question of this video. From 91 to 100 we will discuss in next video, right? So if you like the video, subscribe the channel, and thank you.